There are hotels, and then there are places that feel like they are waiting for you. In the heart of the Canadian Rockies stands Banff Springs Hotel, a stone giant wrapped in mountain silence, beautiful on the outside, but heavy with something older than luxury. If you are drawn to document hauntings and chilling records like this one, subscribe now and turn on the notification bell to join the archive. Because some places do not just hold history, they hold on to the dead. Banff Springs rises out of the forests of Alberta like a castle built to challenge nature itself. When the Canadian Pacific Railway opened the hotel in the late 1800s, it was meant to sell wonder, wealth, escape. But isolation came with the view. Jagged peaks boxed the property in on every side, and in winter, the snow could make the place feel cut off from the rest of the world. That isolation matters, because when a place is this quiet, every footstep feels louder, every draft feels colder, and every tragedy feels like it leaves a stain. Some paranormal researchers point to what is called stone tape theory, the idea that stone can hold the emotional imprint of extreme events. If there is any place built to test that idea, it is this hotel. Limestone walls, heavy halls, staircases that have watched generations come and go, and one staircase in particular may never have forgotten what happened there. The most famous documented account tied to Banff Springs is the Ghost Bride. The story places her somewhere in the late 1920s or early 1930s. A young woman was preparing to descend the grand staircase in her wedding dress. Below her, a ballroom waited. Music, guests, celebration. A future that should have begun that night. But before she could reach the bottom, disaster struck. Some records and oral accounts say her gown brushed too close to candlelight. Others say a sudden draft caught her veil and pushed the lace toward a flame. What never changes is the ending. Her dress ignited, panic took over, and as the fire climbed, she lost her footing on the marble stairs. She fell hard. By the time she reached the bottom, her neck was broken. The wedding was over before it truly began. And according to decades of eyewitness reports, she never checked out. Guests and employees have reported seeing a woman in a white gown on that staircase for generations. Not as a vague blur, but as a full figure, clear enough to freeze the blood. Some say the dress glows with phantom fire that never consumes the fabric. Others describe her drifting instead of walking, repeating the final moments of her last descent. One security worker, making rounds late at night, reported a sudden cold so sharp he could see his own breath. When he looked toward the landing, he saw a bride standing in silence. Through the veil, he could make out the wall behind her. She was not solid. She was there and not there. Then she glided across the staircase and dissolved into a haze that smelled faintly like smoke and old roses. She is not only seen on the stairs. Some witnesses have reported a lone bride in the ballroom, moving as if locked in an invisible dance. No orchestra, no modern speakers, just the feeling of an old waltz rising from the walls themselves. And the moment someone notices her, the figure is said to stop, turn, and vanish. But the bride is only one resident of this hotel. Another documented presence is far stranger, because it does not just appear, it helps. For years, guests described encounters with an older bellman wearing an outdated uniform with white hair and a calm, grandfatherly presence. He appears most often when someone is locked out of a room or struggling with luggage late at night. He arrives before being called. He unlocks the door. He guides the guest inside. Then, when they turn to thank him, he is gone. No footsteps, no elevator sound, nothing. Staff later connected those reports to a real former employee who had worked at the hotel for decades and had once joked that he loved the place so much he would come back after death and keep working. After he died in the mid-1970s, the sightings began, and they never really stopped. In one chilling account, 2 guests praised the helpful bellman who carried their bags and described him in exact detail. The front desk knew the description immediately. The uniform had not been used in years. When the guests were shown an old staff photograph, they pointed to the same man, a man who had already been dead for a long time. And then there is the part of the hotel many people wish had never become part of its story at all. The legend of Room 873 is the darkest account attached to Banff Springs. According to the long-standing report, a family checked into that room for a holiday, and only terror remained. During the night, the father killed his wife and child before taking his own life. Staff cleaned the room, repainted it, reopened it. But the room would not stay quiet. New guests reported screams in the middle of the night, violent sounds from nowhere, pillows yanked away by unseen hands, small cold touches in the dark, and worst of all, a child's-sized bloody handprint appearing again and again on the mirror, even after it had been cleaned away. The complaints became so intense that management allegedly sealed the room off completely. Today, people who know the story claim there is a strange break in the numbering on the 8th floor, and where that room should be, there is only wall. Even now, guests in nearby rooms report hearing knocks from the other side. Skeptics say altitude, old plumbing, wind, and suggestion can explain all of it. Maybe. But those explanations start to thin out when witnesses who know nothing about the hotel describe the same bride, the same bellman, the same crying child, decades apart. That is what makes Banff Springs so unsettling. These are not just shadows in the corner. These accounts feel personal. A bride trapped in the worst second of her life. A bellman still carrying out his duty. A sealed room where something may still be trying to be heard. Banff Springs is beautiful, but beauty can hide a lot. Behind the polished stone and perfect mountain views is a place where history does not feel finished. It feels active, listening, repeating, waiting. So if you ever walk those halls and feel a cold draft where no window is open, keep moving. If you hear a knock from inside a wall, do not answer it. And if an elderly bellman appears when no one else is around, thank him, but do not look away for too long. If this file stayed with you, like the video, subscribe, and share your own documented encounters in the comments. Because the archive is always open and some stories are still checking in.
So, after unpacking the sheer tragedy and chilling encounters we just explored, the doomed bride catching fire on the marble staircase, the phantom bellman who refuses to clock out, and whatever horrifying event caused them to permanently seal the door to room 873, you're probably wondering, what exactly is the vibe at the Banff Springs Hotel today? Well, my personal take on this massive Canadian landmark right now is all about its breathtaking, deceptive charm. If you travel into the heart of the Rocky Mountains today, expecting to find a dark, rotting, Hollywood-style haunted hotel, you will be completely caught off guard. During the daylight hours, this towering Scottish baronial castle actually possesses a remarkably serene and peaceful aesthetic. Nestled among snow-capped peaks and endless pine forests, with its grand stone architecture and luxurious interiors, it feels incredibly cozy. Bathed in the crisp mountain sunlight, the property genuinely looks like a bright, picturesque Thomas Kinkade-style painting of a winter wonderland or a majestic royal retreat. Today, it operates as a world-class luxury resort, constantly bustling with skiers, tourists, and high society events. But honestly, from my perspective, that picture-perfect luxury is exactly what makes the reality of the Banff Springs haunting so deeply unsettling. The contrast is just jarring, because while it looks like a serene mountain paradise by day, the lingering spirits baked into those grand, historic walls refuse to rest. You can be enjoying a warm drink in a beautifully lit, cozy lounge, but the moment you walk past that grand marble staircase or wander down the freezing, quiet hallways near where room 873 used to be, that suffocating dread rushes right back in. The ghosts of Banff Springs haven't checked out. They are just silently sharing this beautiful castle with the modern world. The Banff Springs Hotel proves that five-star luxury cannot buy an escape from the afterlife. Thanks for joining me on this case here, and I'll catch you in the next mystery.